Good morning everyone. Welcome to class 3 of electrostatics. In class 1 we studied about the charge, its properties. In class 2 we studied about the symmetric arrangement of the charges, which is electric dipole. In that we studied about the important concepts of dipole, like calculation of electric field along the axial line of the dipole, along the equatorial line. When this dipole is placed in the electric field, what is the amount of torque acting on the dipole. Now we are going to see the important concept, another important concept relating to this electrostatics, which is electric field lines. What are the electric field lines and what are the important points relating to this electric field line? This simple point is the electric field lines explains the importance of electric field along a particular charge distribution. If you see this diagram clearly, here already we studied about this dipole. If you consider the electric field lines of this dipole, this electric field lines gives the existence of electric field along this dipole. So now we are going to study about this electric field lines. Yes. An electric field line is an imaginary line or a curve drawn through a region of empty space so that its tangent at any point is in the direction of the electric field vector. If you see the diagram clearly, if you draw a tangent along this curve, that tangent gives the direction of electric field at this point. If you draw the tangent along this point, it will give the direction of electric field at this point. If you draw the tangent at this point, it will give the direction of the electric field at that point. So, the direction of the electric field can be easily calculated by considering the concept of electric field lines. Properties. What are the properties of electric field lines? First one is, electric field lines always originates from a positive charge and end on a negative charge, so that they do not form a closed curves. They do not start or stop in the midpoint. So maybe in these electric field lines may be a closed, in some parts there will be closed curves, in some parts there will be continuous lines. I will show in the next diagram. Second property is the number of field lines leaving a positive charge or entering into a negative charge is proportional to magnitude of the charge. The field lines depends on amount of the magnitude of the charge. If amount of the charge is more, field lines will be more. Third one, electric field lines never intersect. What happens if they intersect? If they intersect, at the point of intersection, that point will have two directions, which is meaningless. So the field lines will never intersect. Next one, in a uniform electric field, the field lines are straight, parallel and uniformly spaced. So if you consider a uniform electric field, the field lines will be parallel. All the diagrams will show in the next slide, but for studying purpose, this is one of the property. In a uniform electric field, the field lines are straight, parallel and uniformly spaced. Next one, the electric field lines can never form a closed loops, as a line can never start and end on the same charge. So here if you see one important point, the electric field lines can never form a closed loop, or a line can never start or end from the same charge. They never start and end from the same charge. When they start from one charge, they will go to another charge if it is the opposite one, but they never end in the charge itself. Next one, these field lines always flow from higher potential to lower potential. Positive charge can be considered as higher potential, so they will start flowing from higher potential, and negative charge can be considered as lower potential, so they will go into the flow towards the lower potential. These are the few charge distributions by considering the electric field lines of these charge distributions. This is the first one. When both are positive charges, how these field lines will flow? So the field lines will start flowing from both the charges, and when they will come closer to each other, they will start repelling. So they will form the curves like this. Second one is two negative charges. Similarly, we can see two negative charges along with the field lines. So they will come, they will start from outside and they will enter into this negative charge. So when the point of intersection comes, they won't intersect and they will flow into the corresponding charges. Third one, this is a dipole where positive and negative charges are there. So positive charge, the field line starts from positive charge and goes into the negative charge. And this is another arrangement of dipole, starts from positive charge and goes into the negative charge. So both these diagrams are almost same. After getting idea of electric field lines, we are going to see about this electric flux. What do you mean by electric flux? So by definition, electric flux is the rate of flow of electric field through a given area. The difference between electric field lines and electric flux is, electric field lines may be any number, but electric flux, we have to consider the given area along which the field lines are flowing. So electric flux is proportional to number of field lines going through a virtual surface. If you see the diagram here, the field lines are flowing, but we are considering these field lines which are flowing through a particular area. So the lines which are passing through a particular area are called as electric flux. If the area is placed like this, so that the normal is pointing vertically up, no field line is passing through this area, so electric flux will be zero. In the previous case, maximum field lines are flowing through a particular area, so electric flux is maximum. So in this case, the area is inclined with an angle with the electric field, so that the electric field, the component of electric field can be considered here E cos theta into A. Yes, after getting the concept of electric flux, we have to consider another quantity, which is area vector. Area vector means the vector of a plane surface whose magnitude is area of the figure and whose direction is that of a perpendicular to the plane of the surface. If you see the diagram clearly, if the circle is the area of the object, then the vector can be considered as the normal drawn perpendicular to this surface. Here the area vector is considered as S, which is pointing out from the surface. When such a type of area is placed in the electric field, if you see this diagram clearly, this yellow line, this pink color line shows the direction of the electric field. This area vector will be pointing in this direction, so that we can calculate the electric flux through the particular area as the dot product of the electric field and the area vector. Why we have to consider the dot product here? If you see this diagram clearly, the area is making an angle theta with the electric field. If you consider the components of the area, this A cos theta acts horizontally, A sin theta acts vertically. So there is no electric field which is passing vertically here, so no need to consider the vertical component. Only the horizontal component can be considered. So A cos theta can be considered along this direction with the E. So E A cos theta. E A cos theta, as we studied in 11th class, that can be E bar dot A bar. This is the dot product of the electric field, intensity of the electric field and the area vector. Yes, as it is a dot product, the electric flux can be considered as a scalar quantity. What are its units? Its units are Newton meter square per coulomb. Newton per coulomb is the unit for intensity and meter square is the unit for area. So what are the dimensions of this electric flux? As it is a physical quantity, it has dimensions which are given by m L cube t power minus 3 I power minus 1. Yes, after getting a complete idea about the electric field lines and electric flux, we have to consider the Gauss law. What do you mean by Gauss law? The Gauss law can be given by the total of the electric flux out of the closed surface is equal to the charge enclosed divided by the permittivity. If you see this equation here, Gauss law can be given by total electric flux phi equal to the charge enclosed in the surface by epsilon naught, which is the permittivity of free space. So this gives Gauss law. What is the importance of this Gauss law? in electrostatics class 1 we studied about Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law is used to determine the force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges only. If the system contains more number of charges, then it is very complicated thing to find out the force of attraction or repulsion or intensity using Coulomb's inverse square law. In that particular case, we can use Gauss law. If you know the total charge value in that system, it is very easy to determine the electric flux and as well as electric field using this Gauss law. What is the proof of this Gauss law? So, as I already given, electric flux is equal to dot product of intensity of the electric field and area vector. So, E bar dot ds bar is equal to Q by epsilon naught. When E and ds acts in the same direction, like in this slide. If you see this slide, E and area, electric field and area both are acting in same direction, so maximum flux is passing through this area. The angle between area vector and the electric field is 0. So E and ds in the same direction, then phi is equal to line integral of E bar dot ds bar is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So E into ds is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So if you consider a charge in the form of a sphere, 4 pi r square is the area of this sphere. So E into 4 pi r square is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Finally, E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square, which gives the intensity of the electric field due to a charge Q. This will give the proof of Gauss law. In the next class, we are going to study the applications of Gauss law. At the end of this class, I am going to give one of the tasks, which is you are asked to determine the dimensional formula for all the physical quantities what we studied up to now. Intensity of the electric field, electric flux, and permittivity of free space. Thank you.